Classy Farm here. So they say if you want success on YouTube, you gotta tell stories. I have a few stories. I worked at the Eisenhower Tunnel in Colorado, up at 12,000 feet above sea level for CDOT, the State Highway Department, and it was interesting. We had a little shack on each side of the tunnel, and you'd get assigned to be out there on the night shift or whatever, and of course sometimes we'd sleep. We weren't really supposed to, and sometimes you'd work in the control room with all the monitors and watch all the traffic going through, and you know, if a car stalled, you had to run down to the garage bay and grab the wrecker or just one of our pickup trucks with a tow strap and get them out of there, get them out of the tunnel before they got rear-ended. And but on night shift, I was out on the west portal, we called it, in the little shack, you know, just kind of snoozing, maybe listening to the radio, and somebody comes walking out of the tunnel, out of the eastbound tunnel, and knocks on the door of my little shack at like 2 in the morning. That scared the hell out of me, and they're like, hey, my car stalled in the tunnel like an hour ago. Aren't you guys gonna come, you know, push me out of there? And I was like, oh shit. And I call the control room, and they're all sleeping too, was the problem, at the desk in there with their feet up, you know, and my boss, he's like, oh, okay, you know, and they grabbed the wrecker and we got the car out of there and taken care of, but it's sort of embarrassing. And then later on, I drove snow plows up on Loveland Pass, which is right next door to the tunnel, and the hazardous materials vehicles have to go over Loveland Pass instead of going through the tunnel, which would, you know, actually be much safer if they just let them go through the frickin' tunnel. Because like in the winter, when in whiteout conditions, man, we'd be plowing the snow up there on the pass, and like I said, it's about 12,000 feet above sea level, and we actually wore a avalanche beacon, and that's basically so they can find your body if an avalanche hits you. There is no saving you. That's like being buried in concrete. But I was plowing the pass one night, and some new driver driving for Swift, of course, you know, everybody's favorite trucking company, and he was pretty new, and they had sent him, they told him he couldn't go through the tunnel because he had one of those 14-foot tall trailers, which actually I know for a fact if you go in the left lane through the tunnel, you're not going to hit anything. And I used to send people through there if no supervisors were around, you know, just tell them, hey, just stay in the left lane, you'll be fine. But they sent this poor guy up over, you know, in a blizzard, and he kept getting stuck on Highway 6 there, and he just kept spinning out, losing traction, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna help him. So I had a tow strap in my you know, plow truck, big, you know, tandem axle, pretty heavy duty dump truck, you know, with a full load of sand in it for, you know, I had really good traction, so I hooked up to his, you know, hook on his bumper there, and I towed him all the way to the summit, and he was real happy, because I was like, now, you know, be careful, going down isn't necessarily any easier the other side of the pass, but he made it, and I'm sure he remembers that. But so good times in the mountains.